But first, Greens leader Larissa Waters has blamed Australian arms sales to Israel for the stabbing attack on Jews in Manchester at the weekend. Larissa Waters was asked this morning for her views on the terror attack, and here's what she said.
Oh, look, my heart goes out to the families of those people. No violence anywhere is acceptable, and this is exactly why we need a resolution that is based on self-determination, and why Australia should have, 2 years ago, imposed serious sanctions on the Israeli government, who have been conducting a genocide and starving people, children.
Yeah, ABC host David Spears interrupted and asked Larissa Waters if she could get back to the actual question, which was about the Manchester attack and what needed to be done to ensure Jews in Australia were not targeted.
Of course, we have condemned that, and as I said, our hearts go out to those families. Violence on any basis is not acceptable, and we need to have social cohesion, and part of that is Australia doing what's necessary to stand up for humanitarian justice, and that's why we need those sanctions, and that's why we've got to stop selling weapons components that are dropping bombs on 12-year-olds collecting
you keep
water.
Coming back.
It's absolutely unbelievable. Our hearts go out to the family. But, Danica, you know the real issue is sales to Israel. If they stopped, then people wouldn't get stabbed. To imply a connection between the two is absolutely disgusting. And then Larissa Waters, having said our hearts go out to the families, uses it as an opportunity to then campaign for sanctions against Israel. It's absolutely disgraceful what she did on TV this morning.
I completely agree. I actually think it's completely morally bankrupt, to be quite honest, James. Any person would go, yes, that attack in Manchester was absolutely abhorrent. We're talking a terrorist has gone into a place of worship where Jews should feel they're safest and murdered them in cold blood. Anybody would have gone, it is despicable. We should be extremely worried about the safety of Jews when you've got men like this now going into a place of worship, and she couldn't even do that. Her first instinct, James, was to sanction Israel. And once again, look, the Greens, they're gone. They are there's no going back now for the Greens. We've said this time and time again, this is not an environmental party we're dealing with.
Oh, that's been apparent for a long time.
This is an anti-Israel, and it is an anti-Australian party, for that matter, because this is not what we stand for in this country.
Yeah, unfortunately, they still poll fairly well, which means they enjoy a small but fairly strong level of support. It's not just Larissa Waters, though, because Mehreen Faruqi, the deputy leader of the Greens the other day, when asked about this stabbing in Manchester, took the opportunity to warn people about the dangers of Islamophobia. And did you notice Larissa Waters there said, we condemn all violence? You don't need to condemn all violence, but she goes general rather than being specific because, well, as you pointed out, she doesn't want to be specific because that would involve standing up for Jews, something the Greens are very reluctant to do.
Exactly. And look, I think that there are a lot of wake-up calls to Australia following this Manchester terror attack, James. And there's a lot of uncomfortable truths that we need to start talking about, because it's very clear. We've seen it played out since October 7, 2023. Week in, week out, we've got these pro-Palestine protests. We've got synagogues being torched. We've got anti-Semitic graffiti being sprayed. Jews are intimidated day in, day out. Don't think we're not immune. Don't think that this can't happen here. OK? It is a warning call. And
the circumstances are exactly the same in both countries. Exactly.
It's been bubbling away under the surface, and we have to face the reality that we have brought some people into this country whose values are incompatible with a Western democracy, some who hate us, some who hate our values, and some who have absolutely no interest in assimilating. And I think it is very, very sad that our values are being eroded daily, and what we just sit back and we just watch it unfold because we've got leaders in this country who are so weak, no spine whatsoever, and they are not standing up for us.
We'll talk with Pauline Hanson a little later about the ISIS brides, but I did think it was interesting that on the same weekend that we have that terror attack in the UK, we have news that ISIS brides have snuck back into the country. I'm not suggesting that any of these people who have come back into the country are going to do anything untoward. I'm not suggesting that, but it does highlight this contradiction where we have it seems, competing issues that are not being addressed, and I think we're sleepwalking towards a disaster in this country because those who want to talk about it are not allowed, and those who should be talking about it are mute.
And this is part of the problem. So we've got ISIS brides coming back here. Labor let in 3,000 Gazans last year with little to no security checks. Tony Burke did a private meet and greet a couple of weeks ago at Sydney Airport where Gazan refugees arrived. Again, I am not suggesting that all of them are, capable of being a problem. But my question is, what are the security checks, if any, for anybody coming into this country for that matter? Not just Gazans, I'm talking anybody coming into this country. And that is a concern.
The biggest danger to this country is not a particular group of the community. I honestly believe it's our political class are the biggest threat to this country because they keep on making ridiculous decisions that they refuse to explain, they refuse to countenance unintended consequences, and they demonise anybody who dares to say, wait on a second, is this smart? That the danger to our country right now is not this group or that group, it's our political class who I think are being reckless with national security.
I completely agree.